Welcome to Seasoned Unbothered. We're two women over 50 serving grown women wisdom with a side of humor because we've earned the right to say what we mean and mean what we say.
Let's dive in. And we also just want to remind people to like and subscribe. But also, if you do choose to subscribe, what you should do right now, because I'm mentioning it,
Yes.
do it right now. But also click on the notification to be notified when a next podcast is sent out. So I'll let you start, Bird. First, I always like to say, how are you doing? How's everything going?
It's great. It's been a great week. I have no complaints, and if I did, I wouldn't complain, right? Anyway, because what's that going to do, right? I'm always trying to be optimistic. But I had a great week, though. I think for many reasons. Again, I keep going back to life is lifing.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like, life is lifing. It doesn't matter. It just is, and we must cope with it, and we must deal with it. And I believe, as they used to say when I was growing up, your attitude determines your aptitude, right? Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Your attitude, I don't know. I've never heard. Yeah.
I don't know. See, I never can say those little things, those little cliches or those little things. But anyway, I just believe that you have to think positive. Mm-hmm. When you're in the midst of any storm. You got to look at the bright side. What can I gain from this? What validity, if someone's making, even when someone's complaining about me, I think about what part of the complaint is really true. Like, you have to toss some things out the window, right? Because some people are just belligerent and whatever. Mm-hmm. But this topic is really dear to heart because I've been there before. And I know you are first time.
How am I doing?
Oh, you know what? I'm all ready. Y'all see, I'm ready. For once I did.
I'll keep it short and sweet because I know she was.
For once I did my homework. Not really, but anyway. Yeah, so how are you? How was your week?
My week is going great. We just got back from vacation. We went to the Dominican Republic for a friend of ours' renewal of their vows after 10 years of being married. So it was beautiful to be in the DR, get some time away, get some sun, get some fun. But I've come back to my husband being really sick and me feeling a little, I need to get home today, take some cold medicine and get in the bed because I feel like it's starting to kick up on me. So that's why I'll keep it short and sweet. Please forgive me if I'm sniffling because I definitely feel myself coming down with a little bit.
Well, I
of
hope
cold.
you feel better.
Yeah, thank you.
Feel better.
So take it away.
All right, so we are going to dig deep into divorce. Whether you've been divorced, been affected by divorce, most households in America have, right? Mm-hmm. Whether you have experienced it, whether your sister, your close friend, even your parents or whatever. So we've all been affected by divorce. And I thought about divorce, and I remember I've been divorced before, and I remember the shame, and it's weird, like it's common now, but it still carries some weight. And most people don't know how to talk about it with you. Most people don't really discuss it. Mm-hmm. And then some people, because we want to be so private, we don't want everyone all in our business, so we don't want to talk about it. But divorce can be very challenging, emotionally draining, no matter which partner initiated it. Mm-hmm. No matter what, it's a breaking of the spirits, right? Mm-hmm. Because when you think about marriage, it's two becoming one. Mm-hmm. And so if you're really connected as one, again, you're bound and you are glued together. And when that is torn apart, mm-hmm. whether you wanted it, didn't want it, it is traumatic. Yeah. It's traumatic. And how we get over it, how we deal with it is different for everyone. And even if you've never been divorced before, if you've been in a committed relationship, it's like divorce, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the same thing. It's the same concept when you have to tear away from someone that sometimes you walk away not because you don't love them, not because you don't even want to be with them, but because they're not the right fit for you. Y'all not a good match. Y'all toxic with each other, or that person doesn't add to your life or bring so much negativity in your life. Whatever your reasons are, and everybody have their own reasons. And it also goes all the way back to even when you think about marriage, right? Some people go into marriage with the mindset of if it doesn't work. And I had that mindset before, always thinking about what if it doesn't work, because I had not seen many successful marriages. But now that I am surrounded by not only long-lasting marriages, but healthy, strong, loving marriages. I was able to walk into this new marriage really feeling like this is it. I'm going to give it 150%. Like people say 50-50, but really it's more than that, right? Because sometimes he carries a little bit more of the load and sometimes I do. Yep. But when I think about divorce, I just wanted to talk to people about, see where you are. Like, how do you feel about it? Like some people, like it's not optional. And that's the way I feel right now. Divorce is not an option for me.
Yeah, I would say for me, I've never been divorced. However, of course, divorce has impacted my life through family members that have gotten divorced and remarried and divorced again and remarried and divorced again. In a variety of different ways, but I'm really also blessed in a way that from my immediate family, my aunts and my uncles have been married for a really long time. So I was also fortunate to see long-lasting relationships, the ups and downs and all the things that come with that, and knowing that marriage in itself is not easy. It's that hard work and all the things that you talk about to be able to last the 10, 20, 30 years. Like I said, I just went to a renewal of vows of someone who's been married for 10 years, celebrating that. That may not seem like a long time for some, but I think that is a long time in 2025 to be married to someone for 10 years. I've been to other renewal vows. We had another good friend of ours who renewed, I can't remember if it was 20 or 25 years that they had been together at the time. But it's good to see those celebrations. I think we need to celebrate these long-term marriages because it is hard work. And society, and I know you're going to dive into this, society, I think, makes divorce easy. And in some ways, like you said, hey, if it doesn't work, I could just leave. And I think you got to fight for it sometimes. And that's what you do. And I would say for me, I say it all the time, divorce is not an option for me either. If I waited until 50 to get married, I'm in it. For a reason. I am in it. And we're going to,
Well, divorce also financially.
Yeah.
Just, oh my goodness.
When you say financially, what do you mean?
Financially, divorce is it can be very expensive. Mm-hmm. But even if you come together and you have a lifestyle that was built with two incomes, two people, even if you were a stay-at-home mother, think about the adjustment of that, right? Mm-hmm. If you gave up your career to raise the children and take care of the household, which is a job in itself, right? Mm-hmm. And then you break up, what do? How do you bounce back? How do you now go out there and find yourself, find a career?
Starting over.
It's just, the emotional impact. And because I got married when I was young, and I think you just have a different mindset. Like the mindset I have now, I couldn't imagine doing this again and starting over. And when I think about all the things that we've built together in the 15 years that we've been together, I wouldn't want to just throw that out the window. Yeah. I mean, it's worth fighting for. I can't think of many things. There are some things that he could do that would have me on the fence, but like abuse.
Yeah, deal
breakers. I have some deal breakers, right?
So divorce is an option when there's abuse, when there's
because I don't really want to stay in just because I don't want to get divorced because of the stigma. And that's what used to happen back in the day. There were many, many wives and families where they stayed because they didn't want to, first of all, raise the kids alone. Mm-hmm. They didn't want the stigma of, oh, you're divorced or you're like used goods or whatever the case may be. But again, we don't want anyone thinking that we're advocating for staying in a marriage that is toxic, whether abusive in any form, whether it's physical, mental, verbally, whatever the case may be. And a lot of other reasons, but we just want to talk about the emotional impact of divorce itself and how you move on. I know it seems like death, and your hopes and dreams of what you thought could be are gone out the window. So again, grief and loss, like that is a part of divorce. So if you're going through divorce right now, I want you to know that you're not alone. There are a lot of people that went through it, and that it's okay, and that there is a bright side on the other side. I know sometimes when we're right in the midst of things, I remember getting on my knees and praying to God, like thinking, I didn't want to be here anymore. Like, how am I going to start over? How am I going to do this or do that? So mental health is really important when you go through a divorce. I know some people think you're all strong and you this and you that, but there are times, you know, you cry yourself to sleep, you whatever, and all those things. Okay, it's almost like more. Again, it's almost like the person.
I think it is like a death, and I look and I say that because, and again, not being on it, but being in a long-term relationship and ending long-term relationships is you have to treat it like that person is dead. I hate to say it that way, because you have to move on. And if you keep going back or keep dwelling on that, I think that's a bad thing. So I think that you really have to be like, I'm done, I'm ready to move on. I understand if you have kids, it makes it a little bit more complicated, a lot, probably not a little, a lot more complicated. But I do think that you do mourn a relationship. I remember breaking up with someone I was in a long-term relationship with, and always feeling like a part, like a limb was missing. That's the only way I could describe it. Was like I didn't feel complete without that person. So I could imagine what it would be like to be married to someone and then divorcing them.
No, and don't let it be a messy divorce.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, a messy divorce. Picking up the pieces, dealing with like property division, custody arrangements. Again, financial planning for your future, because if you gave someone 20 years of your life and now you have to start all over, that alone also is very heavy. It can be very, very heavy. But for some people, I've seen divorces feel like freedom, right? Oh
They
my
have divorce
goodness.
parties now. They have these divorce
I
parties.
don't think it's anything to celebrate,
Yeah.
but I can get
they have
someone
divorce
feeling like,
parties.
if you went through a messy, horrible divorce, I can see you at the end going, ooh,
Let's go to Vegas. Let's party.
you know, down, whatever. But it's still sad. It's still sad. And I think sometimes, too, we have to think about what our kids go through. And I didn't experience divorce when I was a child, but my father died when I was younger. And that was like divorce, too, because it was still a separation. It was a loss. And no one really knows how, at that point in my life, no one, I think, knew how to help us deal with our grief. Losing your dad. Then when your mom bring that man around, you're like, oh my goodness. And don't let it be a man that you dislike.
I didn't like any of my mother's cousins.
So it's starting, and then when do you start over? Sometimes people stay in a marriage longer than they need to. So the divorce in their mind happened 10 years ago.
Yes, some people are still dating while they moved on in the relationship.
Yes. Or either
So sometimes it
they
makes
might
it
still
easier
be
to get
living
out.
together.
Yeah.
They might still be whatever.
Yeah.
But in their mind, they are totally separated.
Yeah.
They are like, I am done. It is over. And they have moved on. So then the divorce happens. People like, and then all of a sudden you see them with somebody. People are like, wait a minute, you just got divorced. And you're like, oh no, I divorced him 10 years ago, girl. I just stayed because of the kids. But mentally, I divorced him. Spiritually, I divorced him. Some people are in marriages where they literally living in the same house but not sleeping together. Not just sleeping together, but not intimate with their spouse.
They're just roommates.
Just roommates. Passing in. I don't even know like how you deal with that. How do you? And then I think it's
I think, go ahead, I'm sorry.
a tearing of the spirit, right? Because you in it, but is it okay if we are literally not being intimate, but we're not talking about it? We're not.
I think that happens. I think it can go from, I think sometimes that happens unknowingly. I think you get there because, hey, like we haven't slept together in, say, a week. And then it becomes we haven't slept together in a month. And then it's like we haven't slept together in 3 months. And you just get into the routine of no longer having a physical relationship with each other. not, especially if someone is no longer pursuing you in that way. I think it can happen by accident that you start to become ruthless.
That's why
it no longer
that's why you have to be intentional.
Yeah, that's why intention is really important, which I think can
And
then lead
continue
to
to
divorce
date
if you feel like
and court
someone's
each other in a
yeah.
relationship so that you can keep that level of intimacy between the two of you. And I know a lot of people say that it really happens when people have kids.
Yeah.
You can easily get into that slump with kids.
Because you're tired.
And especially with the person who's the caretaker of the children. Because you think about it, if you're working and you're taking care of the kids too, by the time you do all that, give them a bath, do all these things. And that's why it's really important that I think that couples, but it's up to every couple, that you share those responsibilities. Because if he was doing those things too, he might feel just as tired as you are. But again, then you set some time apart. Like, I know date night is really, we don't have a particular date night, but we try to intentionally have dates. I know, like, my sister and her husband, they truly have a date night, and it's sacred for them. Every now and then they get off and do something. They'll do something on their date night, but very rarely do they veer off from their date night.
I think that's important, and that's something that I took from your sister as well, is the date nights. And we actually added a component of that we are going to dress up. Like, it's not just going to be us in jogging pants, but we're going to intentionally look good for each other, get dressed up, go someplace. It doesn't always have to be fancy. Even if it's someplace like my favorite restaurant, Chili's, like, I still want to kind of get dressed up and make everything intentional about the date night. So that's a component that we added, that we are not going to be in our casual jogging pants and stuff. We're gonna
and that's, nice. I call that keeping it hot and sexy, right?
So we're trying to.
He gets to see you in your raw fur, your raw essence. So therefore, he sees you without the makeup. He sees you without the hair done. He sees you in between the braids. In between the braids, right with the braids out. Thomas helped me cut out my braids, sew in my weave. He'd be like, "Oh my goodness." And it's too funny sometimes. He'd be like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Just cut it out."
Yeah.
So and when they're experiencing all that, you got to remember, when you were dating, very seldom did he get to see you like that.
Yeah.
Because you were intentional about, I don't want him to see me and I'm not looking good. When we first started
dating, I used to get up before him and wash my face and brush my teeth and then get back in the bed and be like,
Thomas does that. I'm like, your breath smell like Listerine when you wake up? It was really funny, right? I would say, "You had some alcohol this morning?" Yes, Listerine.
Now it's whatever. Now it's like, hey, this is...
Hello. Good morning.
Now it just is what it is. But yeah, so we try and do those intentional things to keep it going.
Yeah, and that's important. That's important to avoid divorce.
Yeah.
And I'm only talking about divorce because it's real, right? It's reality. But I want people to think about this too. Consider professional help.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't know how to deal with things that we just don't know how to deal with. And if you've never gone through anything, it's okay to say, "I do not know how to deal with this emotionally, mentally. Like, how do I pick myself up, brush myself off, and know that I still got it," right? Or to know that it's time to step back out there again, or to now pursue a hobby that I always dreamed of, maybe traveling. And if the kids are gone, oh my goodness, you have an empty nest. That alone too is like a divorce, right? Oh my goodness, what do I do now? I don't even have my kids to put my time and energy into.
Yeah, can I ask you something?
Sure.
What about friends? So when you're married, you have your couple friends, you have your friends as a couple. What about that fear of who's gonna get the friends?
That's a difficult area there, right? For instance, my ex, he taught my little sister how to drive and how to do all these things. He had been in our lives for 20-something years, right? So it's like your family has to grieve that person.
Yeah, you're not even friends, but family too.
Yes, with family and friends. And like you said, who's going to get the friends? Was it originally his friend? And then, okay, his friend introduced me to his wife, and now his wife and I have a real close friendship, but they're friends, but now we're not together. How you juggle all that? It's hard for everyone. It's hard for everyone. it's hard not to even put them in the middle of it. If they're really close to you, you don't want like your girlfriend to be mad at him for something that's going on between you and him. It's really, and it's hard. It's hard to, and then you miss. I remember someone I was dating, and I am such a family-oriented, relationship-type person that I cannot think of anyone that I ever dated that I did not get close to their family, with their mom, their sisters, and a lot of them I am still in contact with this day. We're not as close. I try to respect that he's moved on, he's married, I'm married, but I still think of them. I remember their birthdays. And so I still might send a little text. I might hit them up on Facebook or whatever. And every now and then we chat and they be like, girl, I see you.
Well,
we
that
follow
was
each
your
other.
family.
They were my family.
So, yeah.
And I really liked them and loved them as a family. And the fact that we're not together didn't change my love for them. And it takes, sometimes it's difficult though when you move on. The person has to be secure in who they are to feel comfortable with you still being friends and friendly with the people that were associated with your ex.
Yeah.
And I know I'm strong enough to know, because I have those relationships, I feel very comfortable with my husband having those relationships. I don't have that issue because Thomas is like, when he's done, he's done. He don't want to do another. Yeah.
I'm the same way. And I don't want nobody else to deal with him either, so that's how I am. But that's just me.
Yeah.
That's my personality. Yeah, when I'm done, I'm done. I try not to, like I said, I always, unfortunately, I treat it like the person is no longer on this earth. And I just move on and try and move past it.
That's a good question too. But what do you do as a friend? How do you support someone who's going through divorce?
Yeah.
And I think that's a difficult place too, because you want to be there for them, and it's easy too for people to fall into depression. How do you support that person and make sure that they're not isolating themselves, make sure that they're still connecting with people?
I would say I'm so lucky and I feel so blessed that none of my close friends have gotten a divorce. And all of my female friends are married. I was the only one single for a really long time. So I don't know how to address that, but I will have to say, as part of my job, and yes, these are coworkers and things like that, but people they do bring their personal to work, or
because
they have a challenge. It's real. And
it's real.
People who are struggling through divorce that have come to me and asked what type of support, or I've gone to them and say, I know that you're going through this. Your performance has changed. You have changed.
What can we do?
What can we do? How can we support you? Because
that's the HR talking.
Yeah. Because we know that it's difficult, and I know it's difficult for your children. How can we help them? Because they go through it
that's
too.
really nice.
And ensuring that we have resources to support them. So I'm very much on that whole mental health part of it. Is that, I think sometimes we always have to be strong. And I think sometimes we need people to help us or to provide resources so we can help ourselves.
It's really interesting. I have a property management business that I meet with and talk with on a weekly basis. And one of the things that I incorporated into our weekly meeting was a personal, in the beginning we talk about a few personal things, because again, sometimes people, because life is life and work is whatever it is, that I try to take that time so that that person knows that I care about them as a person. And you're not a robot. You do have personal things going on in your life. I think on our agenda, I had celebrating my first year anniversary, like celebrations and things like that. It's really important that people are mindful when people are going through, to lend that ear. It's like even in the beginning of this conversation, you asked me how I was doing. And we got to be mindful that we reach out and ask that person how they're doing. Do you want to go out today? You want to go to, maybe take the extra step to get them out of the house or get them out of a routine, and so they can have some fun and whatever. Again, everyone handles divorce differently. I think at different stages of the divorce too. Like I said, if you're going through a messy divorce, it can be really ugly. If you're going through an amicable divorce, it might be a little easier. But again, I feel emotionally, we have to also think about engaging in self-care. Like, we need to recognize, you say you're okay, but are you really okay? Because I know, and sometimes we want to be strong and I got this and I can handle anything when we're really torn inside.
Yeah.
And then you got to be careful not to avoid negative coping, right? Alcohol, drugs, any kind of destructive behavior.
I just wanted, on that I was thinking, I think it's important to realize to not be afraid of starting over, especially at our age or older. If you, like, your 50s, 60s, sometimes 70s, if you're ending a relationship due to divorce, it's like you may feel like, hey, I'm too old to start over. And that's where I think some negative coping could happen. So I just think that you're never too old to start over. That's what starting over means. It can happen at any age, in any way. So don't be afraid to do that.
That's true. I think too, it can be liberating too, right? You know, again, when I say self-care, and also take some time to focus on where you want to do now, where you want to go, where you see yourself. Like you said, it's okay to start over. Tell yourself you will be happy again, whether you with someone or not, right? How you find that peace and that joy with yourself. And if you decide that you want to take that plunge again, it's okay too. And the thing that I hope most to, that people do not become negative about marriage and negative about life, because sometimes something that dramatic can make you feel like, I'm never going to trust again.
Yeah, I'm never going to get married again.
I'm never going to get married again.
All men are liars, cheaters, whatever happened.
Yes, I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
All men are cheaters. And I don't believe that. I believe there's a great deal of men that are cheaters, a great deal of women that are cheaters. And whether you're a cheater or not, and also own your own. Some people also always want to point the finger, but in every relationship, you know, when you're pointing, there's the one coming back at you. So what could you have done? What can you do better to improve your next relationship? Or not do, or learn your non-negotiables, right?
Yeah. What your boundaries are.
What your boundaries are. Because sometimes we have that red flag long time ago, right?
Okay, when you're dating, you're okay, but I'm
still gonna marry him. Going to the altar.
He's gonna change, because he will change, and that never that never happens.
And unfortunately, if you need to seek legal advice, right? Don't make all your decisions based on your friends and what they've done and all
or
that.
Your emotions at the time.
Your emotions. Yeah. I really say, I like to make even like breaking up, I like to make those decisions when I'm not angry, when I'm not upset, and I'm just sitting there really thinking about looking at what I want to do or how I want to move. And is this the best decision for me? And sometimes making the best decision for yourself is a difficult one, but you have to step out and be brave and do what it is that you need to do. And communicate. It's not, again, sometimes people check out, but they're still there. And try to maintain open and respectful communication with your ex if you can. But I know sometimes it's difficult, because if he got a side chick that he ended up with, and we talked about that not too long ago. If you didn't hear that one, go back and check it out.
I will leave that episode in the description box.
But I'm not gonna belabor this, but I just wanted to reach out to those who have been through divorce. And because I've been through divorce, I'm telling you, there's a bright side on the other side. And I hope our conversation allow you to think about some things, gave you some things to ponder on, some things to maybe implement. And as you go through this struggle, or if you know someone that's going through this struggle, giving you some ideas and tips on how you can be there for your loved ones, your friends, and make the D word. It is I think it's an ugly word, a nasty word, but unfortunately, it's life.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing that. So I wanted to dive into a topic, and it's because it came up personally.
Okay.
So I do not have any children, child-free. I do have a stepson, but the question came up of who is going to take care of me when I get old? Like, Tamika, why don't you have any kids, kind of thing? And I said, I'm child-free by choice. I know it's not everyone's choice to be child-free. Everyone has a different situation, but it was a choice for me not to have any children. And then the person said, who is going to take care of you when you get old? So it got me thinking about the topic of being child-free, not even always by choice. I was thinking about it by choice, but then I started thinking that some people don't choose to. It's just the circumstances that they may be in. But then that question of, is it even, think about, as we get older, should we be even thinking about our kids taking care of us at all? And I know you have a daughter, so I just wanted to bring that to you, thinking about there are the pros. There's definitely pros of being child-free, and I know that there are cons, and some people may look at that as a con, but
Well,
that topic.
the generations of the day are not like they used to be. I remember it was a given that your children would take care of you when you got older. A lot of grandparents or whatever moved in with their children. That was customary for the most part when they got older. But we're living longer with dementia and all those things happening a lot more. And then meaning also the children are working longer. We don't have the same family dynamics. I personally would hope that I do not, because my daughter is fairly young, because I had her young, and so I would not want to burden her. And I'm going to use the word burden because I believe it's not that it's a burden, but it's a heavy lift to take care of a loved one. I know many people who have gone down that path, not that they set out to do it, but when push comes to shove, I'm going to be the one to take care of mom, I'll be the one to take care of dad, or we're going to figure it out. And we had that decision to make with our grandmother, but unfortunately, before we could even implement everything, she passed away because she was adamant that she did not want to be in that home. And she was like, I'm going to die in here if you leave me here. So we made a decision that we were going to take care of her. One of our sisters had agreed to give up her life in North Carolina, move to Virginia. And it was all around when Tanika was about to get married. And unfortunately, my grandmother died the week of Tanika's wedding. And we were picking her up. I think she died on a Monday morning. We were picking her up on that Wednesday, but we were never going to take her back. But we didn't tell her everything, but we wanted to surprise her. Not only did you get to see your grandbaby get married, but you're not going back there. Unfortunately, that never happened. And then Thomas' father was ill, and I've experienced it with a lot of people. So I don't know, and I do not think it should be their responsibility. So maybe somehow most kids, some kids, because if my mother was living and she needed care, I would probably take care of her. But it also, if you're financially in the position to be able to do it, that's the other part that's really hard. Like some people, they can't afford to have their parents and are very, very, because there are different levels of those homes.
And
that's the other
I want
thing.
to talk, because having worked in long-term care, I've worked in long-term care, I've seen it done in a variety of different ways. I've seen where there have been residents there that has lots of kids and nobody comes to visit. So there's no guarantee that just because you have kids, that, I hate to even say it, and I don't know what the dynamics of that relationship is, but that they will even want to even deal with you in old age.
Or have capacity to deal with
who
you.
knows what the situation is.
Right.
So I think that having kids doesn't guarantee
that someone's going to take care of you.
Yeah, and I would say that I don't believe that your kids should be your retirement plan. And I think
you should not make that their responsibility.
Yeah,
if somewhere down the line they
plan.
choose that they personally want to do that, but that should not be your plan.
Yeah, and that's what I've said, what I've said to people, because I've been asked this probably more now that I'm married. It's funny that, and maybe because people don't know that I'm 50, I think there's assumption that, hey, that I was going to have, like me, that now that I'm married. Like people have asked me, like, when are we going to have children? I'm like never. No, that's not something that either of us want. And I am in menopause, so it's not even an option. I'm not Janet Jackson. I don't know how that miracle happened. Like, that's not something for me or something that I've wanted. But I don't want to look at kids like a retirement plan. I think that I've really made a conscious effort to financially set myself up. Having seen it,
that's definitely
that
another option.
I will be able to financially take care of myself. And I know that does not tuck you in at night. Money does not tuck you in at night. Money is not love. I understand that component of it. However, I do think that...
But that's the heaviest lift.
The heaviest lift is the financial thing. And I have wonderful friends and family. It's not all about kids. There's also community that can be there for you. And that's how I look at it as well as that. It's not just kids. Hopefully, who knows if one day we're going to be in a house like the Golden Girls, like having to live together. Like,
oh yeah. Wasn't one of them divorced? One was single, and
one husband died.
Yes.
I love the Golden Girls. Three of their husbands died, and one was divorced. So there's that community as well, the family that you make outside of the family that you were born into or that you have, that I think is important too. So I think I've really surrounded myself with a really good
cousins,
community.
nieces, anyone in the family can step up.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's just having a kid is the solution to that. I don't think that should even be partly. But most kids would want to be involved. Like you said, you've seen parents where they're in some kind of home or something, and the kids
never show up.
And then, but like even when my grandmother
show up and don't want to be there, you could tell that they don't want to be there.
You just did a punch in the clock, and like, oh, I can't. No, like with my grandmother, we tried to make sure that someone was always there. We went there, and I look at my father's side of the family, and that's how loving and caring they are. My grandmother had 18 kids, and they all would drop anything to help and be there for each other. And when one is sick, everybody steps in to try to help out and do everything. So I don't, like I said, and then it's okay. I think a loving community, whether it's by blood or friendship, is going to be what see you through old age. Because you can have a child, unfortunately, and your child precedes you in death. Like, who's to say that your child will live longer than you?
Yeah.
God forbid, but that does happen.
And I think too that we always think about like the children that you have, but there are mentoring relationships. There's other things
like your children
that are like my children. I think about my godchildren. I think about all those things. I think about because and I think this has to, of course, with me doing. I'm starting to think about what my life is gonna be like. When I'm thinking about, especially when I retire, what am I going to be doing? And to me, it's about maybe having mentoring relationships and doing more of those things in retirement, or being more creative and building relationships with others so that it's creating that bigger community and bigger impact around me. Those are things I've been thinking about lately.
Those are very important things, and I think it's okay. And I know sometimes there's a stigma without
Oh, yeah.
especially in a marriage, right? A lot of times, if you're not married, people not asking you when you having a baby.
Yeah. And that's
it's like when you get married, they always want to know that.
I did. I made a TikTok about it. I'm like, so many people have asked us, like, when are we having a baby? When are we having a baby? And I'm like, look, like, we are child-free by choice, and our happiness does not come from that. Our happiness comes from the love that we have together and what we're building together, and that's okay too. Our legacy, I don't think your legacy should be all about your children. I think it's about the impact that you leave on just your footprints across many things.
That
on
is
this
so
earth.
true.
Yeah.
That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully, I mean, that's a great topic. And I'm glad you brought that up. And I'm hoping that someone can learn from that as well, too, right? I had one child, and I remember, like, she's my greatest gift because I remember I was 17 when I had her, and I was going to have an abortion, but I was scared. The only reason why I didn't have an abortion, I thought that was the only reason. But God knew that was going to be my only child. And I always tell her, I am so happy that I didn't know I wasn't going to have any more children, but I didn't have any. I used to tell everyone that I didn't have any more children because she was my birth control. Looking at her, I'm like, you ain't got to worry about me having no more. As a struggling single parent, young parent.
That could do it. That could do it.
But
I think that's probably one of the I saw growing up, coming from a single mom, I saw the challenges and stuff. I think that probably may have some things to do with it.
It's interesting you say that because my daughter, those of you who know it, doesn't want children. And for a while, I was like, wow. I was like, I wanted to live vicariously through her. I'm like, give me your grandbaby.
Yeah.
But then someone just asked me the other day, do she have any kids? And I'm like, no, I don't have any kids. I said, I would love them. I said, but my daughter said she doesn't want any kids. And at this stage, she's in her 40s now, she may not have any children. So I have put my arms around it, and it's her choice. And if that's the life she wants, that she doesn't care to have children, that I'm not going to, what do you call it? I'm not going to make her feel bad about it, right? It's her decision. I respect it. And I got nieces and nephews. I have mentees in my life. I have people go back to, so people I dated before. I have some brothers and sisters that were like my little brothers and sisters, or like, now I consider them like mentees or whatever. And they're in my life. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with her not having children. And I try to make sure I support her in that, that she feels comfortable and that she's not shunned or looked upon or feeling bad that, like she doesn't want kids. And I was like, it's okay if you don't want kids.
Yeah. I do want to add, though, I do have a cat who is my baby, Estelle.
Your fur baby.
Estelle Getty, who's named after one of the Golden Girls.
I didn't even realize that she was after one of the Golden Girls.
It's one of my favorite shows. Was there anything else you want to cover today? Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think we said a lot, and I'll save my other thoughts for one of our next episodes.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for bringing that up. If you have a topic that you want us to hit on, drop us a message.
Yeah. And I also want to say, thinking of that, if you have made it to the end of this episode, in the comments, leave us a little heart so we know that you stayed to the very end of the episode.
Stay to the end, people.
Stay to the end.
We may have a surprise for you.
One of these days, we may have a surprise for you.
Yeah, we may have a raffle. Oh, and let us know, because someone asked me today when I told them last night, they asked me yesterday, they said, what you doing tomorrow? And I said, we're going to record for our podcast. And they said, y'all should go live. And I'm like, live? They said, yeah, so we can join in. So let us know if you're interested in that too.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
That might be a lot of fun. We can go back and forth and have dialogue, and you can be a part of our podcast.
Yes, having a live podcast actually would be a lot of fun. So again, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for watching this episode of Seasoned and Unbothered. And again, please don't forget to subscribe or share this episode and follow us. And like I like to leave it, is don't forget to stay seasoned and unbothered.